Luigi Mangione, a 26-year-old former valedictorian of the prestigious Gilman School in Baltimore, Maryland, has been arrested in connection to the fatal shooting of UnitedHealthcare CEO Brian Thompson. Once celebrated as a top student in his 2016 graduating class, Mangione's descent from academic stardom to a suspect in a high-profile murder has left many questioning how such a tragedy could unfold. According to reports, he was taken into custody under allegations of having used a 3D printed firearm, often referred to as a ghost gun, in the crime. This detail has further amplified discussions around the accessibility and dangers of untraceable weapons.
Guys, this just in, a person has been arrested in UnitedHealthcare CEO Brian Thompson's murder. Authorities have announced just a few minutes ago that a person was detained at a McDonald's in Altoona, Pennsylvania. The person has been identified as 26-year-old Luigi Mangione. Apparently, he had a weapon with him and a silencer that was similar to the one used in the crime, along with 4 fake IDs and a manifesto. A civilian at McDonald's called in the tip after recognizing the individual through media photos. At this point, information is pouring in about the person of interest, but we do know that Mangione was a valedictorian of a Maryland prep school. As of this recording, he seems to have several social media accounts still open, including several X accounts and an Instagram account. Hard to believe the guy who's been meticulous up until this point had a manifesto and the weapon in his bag. But what do you guys think? Do you guys think that they have found the shooter, or do you think this is a patsy?
Why would a person, knowing that they are being hunted by multiple law enforcement agencies across the country, use the same fake ID used in New York, carry the weapon still on you, along with a manifesto describing your actions and implying there were additional targets? 26-year-old Luigi Mangione was taken into custody in Pennsylvania today in relation to the pew-pewing of the UnitedHealthcare CEO. And that's exactly what was on his person when he was taken into custody. The same fake ID, the weapon, and a manifesto. Now, something to me just doesn't seem quite right. And we've all noticed that the police and the media have been putting out pictures of different individuals. They don't look alike. They're not even wearing the same clothing. Similar, but not the same. Now, if this is indeed the perpetrator, I'm very glad that the police have caught them, but just something seems a little bit too convenient.
The case's gravity has only intensified as Mangione has officially been charged with murder, leaving many to speculate about his fate.
Is this the shooter who unalived the United CEO? A suspect has been taken into custody in Altoona, Pennsylvania, and he is a strong suspect in the shooting. His name is Luigi Mangione, and he was found at a McDonald's in Altoona, Pennsylvania. And it's being reported that an elderly person in the McDonald's is who tipped the police off. Mangione was found with a backpack that had a pew-pew in it, as well as a silencer and a manifesto, as well as multiple fake IDs. Detectives from the NYPD are on their way to Altoona, Pennsylvania to question him. Mangione is actually from Maryland. He graduated valedictorian from high school, went to the University of Pennsylvania. Apparently, the manifesto that was found on him stated that there were some grievances with the healthcare industry. It's being reported that he had been a caretaker for elderly family members who have passed away. Mangione has ties to not only Pennsylvania and Maryland, but also Hawaii and California. It's also being reported that the gun that was found was potentially 3D printed and can hold a 9mm round, which would match with what was used on the United CEO. This is all developing like brand new breaking news. What in the world that a man who pulled off a MacGyver 007 hit in New York City was then turned in by an elderly person while sitting having a McDonald's meal? I can't.
This is pretty spooky. The CEO assassin has uploaded a video, which is this countdown with some messages on it about potential plans in the future. However, people are commenting on the fact that the profile picture has also changed about an hour after the video was uploaded. Now, as you can see, this video was uploaded 2 hours ago when the suspect is obviously in police custody. This is possible because YouTube has a schedule upload feature where you can release videos in the future. So that would make sense. That's perfectly believable, but the profile picture change is a bit of a different matter. And I thought, well, the fact that the profile picture has changed recently must prove that this is an imposter trying to maybe just leech off the attention. However, I also realized that this guy, this suspect, is a computer science major and software engineer. So he could have, in theory, created some sort of script on his browser or had some program that calls to YouTube's API and actually updates the profile picture on a schedule as well. It's definitely possible to do that too. It's just a bit more tedious and kind of pointless. I mean, the picture that's now uploaded is just another innocuous picture of the guy that's readily available on social media. So it doesn't really make sense why go for the effort of changing this profile picture. I mean, the fact that he can release the video is probably the most important thing if he wants to do this. But yeah, in theory, both things are possible. This guy seems like a bit of an evil mastermind, I guess.
Regardless of how you feel about Luigi Mangione, I have one request and one request only. That is that Ryan Murphy and Netflix are not allowed within 10,000 feet of this story. This man is the king of exploitation in media, and I guarantee he is licking his fucking chops looking at this story and thinking about all the possibilities with Dave Franco hopping into this role. I think that when this story is inevitably told in film or television, it should be told with some respect, with some nuance, with some intelligence behind it. My feelings about this are pretty complicated, probably too complicated for a TikTok video. I had some thoughts that I threw out there that were not very well received. While still alleged, Luigi is still just a person of interest, I believe, but I will say if he has thrown away his life for this action, I think the hope is there will be some type of change. I think the hope is it causes discourse and that causes everyone to stop and think about the direction our country is going and about some of the systems in place in our country that are fucking over a lot of people. I think a lot of times with exploitative true crime in film or television, or with Ryan Murphy specifically and Netflix, he is telling stories that don't necessarily have to be told and immortalizing people that do not deserve to be immortalized. But I think that when all the dust settles here, if he is in fact the perpetrator, this will be one of those stories that is actually worth diving into and trying to understand. Because again, I think regardless of how you feel, the why and the how a young, good-looking, intelligent kid with a master's from Penn decided to go about doing this is very, very important. And the media around it should be careful, well thought out. It should reflect that. It should not be schlock like this.
There are gay people, and there are people that love Pokemon, and there are people that are gay and loves Pokemon. Luckily, I'm one of them, and I think today is a day that feels very special to me, and most likely feels very special to all the gay Pokemon lover, because we have found an ally. Now, I'm not sitting here to support any sort of murder, okay? But Luigi Mangione. Anyway, Luigi, the guy who allegedly killed the CEO of this healthcare organization, is found to be a hot man, and the face card and the body card, it's really shining through. It's about to win him some jury votes, whatever is going to happen in the American system. But like, my Twitter is basically now swamped with this guy because I am gay and I like Pokemon. This picture, I think, says a lot about who he is. Like, probably a frat boy. He went to Ivy League, be exploring or on the bright side of the spectrum. I don't know, this is alleged obviously, but kind of confirmed to be a good for both sides. We're all lucky. He also listens to Brat, so I can relate also. There comes a time when your favorite Pokemon is not your favorite Pokemon anymore because someone ridiculously famous has claimed that Pokemon. So I'm sorry for all the Breloom lovers. You are out of the running of the Breloom lover because Luigi has taken over. Now I have one last thing to say before I end this stupid ass video. I play Pokemon, so I have a lot of Pokemon player on my timeline, like whether they're VGC player, whether they're TCG player, whether they are Smogon, or they're just casual players. This might be very controversial, but I don't want you guys to make any sort of straight joke about Breloom because you don't understand the context of this moment. Like, I know you're very excited to see Breloom featured in this scandalous character that's very hot, that's gonna earn you some impressions on the internet, right? But like, don't do it, okay? Because this is our moment. This is for the gay Pokemon players, and I just want you to take a seat back and let us enjoy the moment. Unless you want to engage in some sort of male-to-male action, I don't think this is the space. There's no safe space for you to hold, okay, at this moment. So just, get out.
Luigi Mangione has officially been charged with murder, and speaking of setup, let's talk about something he said today in court. So this was Luigi when he was in his holding cell, and then he was transferred to court. I don't know if people have seen the new photo of him, but there were two people that were in the courtroom that were tweeting about what happened. First person is Alex, who is a correspondent with News Nation, and this is what he said happened in court. Alex says he was tall, about 6'1" in height. He walked in with his head up, and he was making eye contact with the judge and Commonwealth when they were speaking. He was barefoot and cuffed around the waist and ankles. He spoke eloquently with confidence. He appeared coherent and understood what was going on. He did not have an attorney present. He was allowed to speak when answering questions for the judge to decide if bail should be granted. He said he would decide later if he was going to retain private counsel or a public defender ahead of his prelim on 12/23. The first paragraph, Alex details everything that was found on Luigi when he was arrested. He asked the judge to deny bail, saying he was in possession of $8K in USD and $2K in foreign currency, also bags that are utilized to block the transmission of cellular data. In a strange moment, Luigi interjected and rejected those accusations. He said someone must have planted the money because he was not in possession of that much. As far as the bags go, he said he had them because they were waterproof and it was meant to keep his electronics dry. Luigi tells the judge that he hasn't spoken to his family in a while and he's had no drug or alcohol issues and has no criminal history. He also gave the judge his childhood home address, but when pressed, revealed that his most recent address is in Hawaii. This is Colin Rugg. He's the second person that tweeted and basically said the same thing, that when the conversation was about bail, prosecutors mentioned that he had this bag that would block transmission as well as finding all that cash on him. Colin quotes Luigi saying, "I don't know where that money came from. I'm not sure if it was planted." This person responded to Colin's tweet saying an activist wouldn't hide or lie about their MO. "In my opinion, this is getting weird," to which Colin responded, "He was most likely lying. Cash, foreign currency, and a Faraday bag scream flight risk." That being the case, the judge would likely deny him bail, so he then says they are planted to help his case. Also, remember how Luigi was saying he hasn't really kept in touch with his family? I think that's very evident because his cousin posted this. Crazy to think that Luigi was arrested about 15 hours ago and so much has happened in just one day.